Welcome to Another Explainer. I am thrilled you're tuning in today. We are going to take a really fascinating, chronological, kind of day-in-the-life look at the quirky, unspoken rules and daily habits for new residents in Japan. You know, if you're planning a move, or honestly, if you just love learning about how daily life completely changes across the globe, you're absolutely going to love the insights we've pulled from today's source material. It's all about adapting to a brand new cultural landscape, just step by step.
Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine you're waking up in your brand new apartment in Japan. You're getting ready to make breakfast, and you're immediately greeted with this rather unique piece of advice from our source material: always use protection on your sink. I know, it sounds a little funny, right? But as you'll see, this is actually a very real, very vital first lesson for navigating a Japanese kitchen.
Section 1. Kitchen Habits at Home. This is literally where your day begins, and right off the bat, you're facing a domestic difference. Now, just take a look at this comparison here. If you're coming from the US, you probably have a very common expectation built into your daily routine: the garbage disposal, right? You scrape your plate into the sink, you flip a switch, and the problem just magically vanishes. But the reality in Japan is, well, quite different. Garbage disposals are actually pretty rare over there. So instead, Japanese plumbing relies on a much more manual, physical system to keep everything clean.
So the crucial point is, you've got to use these little nets to catch all your food. It becomes this totally non-negotiable daily habit. Every single time you cook, every time you do the dishes, you are physically installing, replacing, and tying up these little mesh nets to manage your food waste. Actually, it's a small adjustment, but it completely rewires the rhythm of your after-dinner cleanup, for sure.
Moving right along to Section 2. Navigating the commute. You step outside and boom, you are in it.
Seriously, I want you to picture yourself there for a second. You are suddenly plunged into one of the most highly sensory, crowded environments on Earth. Thousands of people are moving at top speed. It's morning rush hour, and the big question hits you. How do you find the exit in rush hour? When you're packed shoulder to shoulder in this massive, sprawling station, it can feel so claustrophobic and confusing. You definitely need a strategy to get out.
Fortunately, these stations have built-in navigational lifelines. But here's the catch. To use them, you kind of have to retrain your senses. First up, your ears. You have to actively listen for artificial bird sounds. Yeah, they aren't real birds buzzing around the station. It's a specific audio cue acting like a beacon, guiding you toward the exits. The second lifeline? That requires looking down for these distinct yellow ground markers.
And this brilliantly illustrates inclusive design in action. These yellow ground markers are actually a tactile paving system, which was fundamentally designed to help the visually impaired navigate safely. But as new residents quickly figure out, they completely double as a crucial pathfinding tool for anyone who is just utterly lost in that chaotic crowd. You literally just follow the physical yellow path on the ground, and it will lead you straight to a way out, right through the middle of the rush hour crush.
Now for Section 3, Convenience Store Heartbreak. Let's shift gears from plumbing and commutes to something a bit more emotional.
If there is one dramatic warning every single new resident needs to take to heart, it is this: never fall in love with the food at a convenience store. I'm totally serious. Japanese convenience stores are legendary for their incredible quality and variety, especially when it comes to these amazing limited edition collaborations. It is just so easy to find a new favorite snack, but please, guard your heart.
Let's move to and see how this builds into a true micro-narrative of loss. Look at this timeline. Day 1, you stroll into the store and discover a seasonal masterpiece. Let's say it's the famous cheese pizza volcano. Week 2, you are buying it constantly. You've fallen deeply, madly in love with it. But it doesn't matter how much you love it, because then, one day, you wake up, you go to the store, and it just isn't there anymore. It's gone forever. Dealing with the fleeting nature of these legendary snacks is a very tough daily reality.
And that brings us to Section 4, Movie Theater Etiquette. Unwinding at night has its own rules.
Okay, if you're the kind of person who is used to jumping right out of your seat the absolute second the screen fades to black, you are going to need to learn a brand new habit here. In Japan, public leisure spaces have strict social rules, and movie theater etiquette dictates that you are expected to sit through the entire end credits completely in silence. No exceptions. It's a very strict expectation. You don't chat, you definitely don't check your phone, and you don't leave. You just sit.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the duality of this whole cultural practice. On one hand, the intention is incredibly respectful to the filmmakers and, everyone who worked on the movie. But on the other hand, the real experience for a newcomer can be kind of excruciating. When you aren't accustomed to sitting perfectly still and utterly silent in a room full of strangers for minutes on end, just watching text scroll by, it actually takes genuine effort to adapt to that level of quiet stillness.
And honestly, that beautifully encapsulates the entire experience of moving to a new culture, doesn't it? It's this wild mix of fascinating systems, heartbreakingly brief snacks, and profound respect that sometimes really challenges our own comfort zones. So I want to leave you with this final, provocative question to ponder as we wrap up today's explainer. Which of these daily habits would you find most excruciating, or, on the flip side, maybe the easiest to adopt? Really think about how your own daily routines would have to change. I hope this structured look into the daily habits for new residents in Japan has sparked your curiosity and given you a really clear understanding of today's source material. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.